On today's episode of Identity, social entrepreneur Tuli Sebago hangs out in the Identity coffee shop. We experience women empowerment with the members of Mbogodo Dialogues. What's Happening features the review of a Bible quiz app and an inspirational book. And we wrap up the show with a track from Zagwe featuring Zulu.
I am an individual with an imagination. My inner faith illuminates innovations. In a space with infinite inspiration, I was born free from all incarceration. Incredible, living infallibly, intelligent, outshine with my inner being. This is me, impeccable as ever been. I am you, you are me. This is my identity.
Molweni enkosi ngokubukela inkqubo yenkolo ezahlukeneyo yolutsha ezimisela ukunceda niqale iveki yenu kakuhle. Nibukela i-Identity, ndingumsasazi wenu uViwe Gxwala. Before we kick off today's episode, a quick note that yesterday the Sikh community celebrated the birth of Guru Har Krishan, who was the youngest guru to succeed his father Guru Har Rai. Guru Har Krishan was one of the 8 gurus who healed people during his lifetime. We hope the Sikh community had a peaceful day remembering the spiritual leader. The Rastafarian community also celebrated the birth of Emperor Haile Selassie, who was crowned in 1913. The Rastafarian leader and redeeming Messiah believed in equality and liberation of the Rastafarian people. We hope that the Rastafarian community had a peaceful celebration commemorating this iconic leader. Ndiyathemba ukuba nizilungiselele kule mizuzu emashumi amathathu alandelayo ukuba nivuyele ezihamba phambili kwezomoya. Nina njengebelekani nivuyele siniphathele kona ngale ntsasa yinhle. Kokuqala masidibane nondwendwe lwethu namhlanje evenkeni yethu yekofu. Today I'm hanging out with a young woman who has a clear vision of leadership and youth development. Tuli Sebago is the founder and designing planner of Anglo-African Events, a company that provides professional events and campaign management services. In spite of her already hectic schedule, she also takes time to follow her other passion, which is empowering and mentoring young people. In 2013, she established Girls Invent Tomorrow, an initiative dedicated to empowering, educating and mentoring young girls who are interested in entering the information and communication technology sector. In 2015, Tuli saw the need to launch yet another initiative that aims to nurture and guide young people into leadership. She named it the Next Gen Leadership Movement. Our team was curious to find out more about this extraordinary woman, so of course we had to have her over for coffee, cupcakes and a chat. Tuli, welcome to Identity.
Thank you for having me. It's such an honor to be here.
Okay, so I want to start from the beginning. Yeah. What was your childhood like?
I grew up in a very large family. There were 6 kids. I'm obviously the baby of the family. And I think, when you're the baby, everybody treats you like an egg. You get sheltered. You're the one that, they just really look after you. And I was raised by an amazing woman. Where my mom was the head of the home, and she was very passionate about treating us as individuals. It's a big family. You've got 6 kids, and you need to look after all 6 of them because everybody's got their own special needs.
Sure.
But she treated us as individuals, and she always wanted us to have our own voice within the big structure that we had in the family. We grew up learning the idea of Ubuntu, and understanding what you're not in this world alone. There are other people around you, and you need to always remember that. You always need to remember anything that you do. You always remember that you really need to look after in just the world that we live in. So I think for us, that was our childhood.
And as you said, Ugutu Mamako was very grounded in the principles and the values of Ubuntu, yes. Which leads me to my next question about spirituality. How was it introduced in your life, and what role does it play in your life right now?
Sure. My mom, with us, it's from a young age, we went to Bible school. That the Bible school that you drag your feet, you're like, ma, Saturday, Bible school. Mm-hmm. And, it was part of who she was, I think, because, my mom's name was Umatapelo. So she was really a praying woman,
Mm-hmm.
And as a praying woman, you lead your family into prayer, with things that you do. So for us, it was an everyday thing. The power of prayer is so important because it kind of guides you in the direction that you're taking. Whether you believe in Allah, in God, in Jesus, whatever religion it is, I think we all know that there's a higher being that exists, that guides us in things that we do in our daily lives. And she was always about that. She always said, I'm not going to tell you which church to go to, which religion to believe in, but you need to have prayer in your life. You need to be thankful. You need to pray for the things that you have. And I think that was very important for us as kids. And we're forever grateful for that.
Okay, why is it so important for us as young women to have mentors or support systems like our mothers?
Sure, it is. You know, there's a lot you learn from home when you're growing up as a kid, you know, and I think my mom's biggest thing was from outsiders, you know, because when you pick up things from outsiders, they have their own things and their own terrible ways of doing things. She wanted to be the role model that we could look up to. You know, she wanted us to say, you know, my mom did it well, you know, with the little that she have or the little time that she had. She did a good job at raising 6 kids and making sure that each and every one of us, you know, we really get to be the best of who we are. And I think as women, you know, we forget the sense of we are the community builders, you know, we are the home builders. We actually run the world, if you come to think about it. You know, when women run the world, things work. The reason why I say that is because for us, it's automatic. When you're running the world, you always think of the next person. That's just how women are. We never think about, it's just me in the world. You think about the kids that you need to bring up. And I think that's, for me, that's the big thing that I learned from my mother, you know, as with the role that she played with us.
So Tuli, let's speak about Anglo-African events. Firstly, why the name? And secondly, what inspired you to start it?
It was such a random name that we chose. You know, it was really, we sat and we went through all the names, and we always wanted a name that started with A, because we always believed Uguti. Back then we had a phone book, so we always wanted with Viwe Gxwala.
Oh,
we are A, you know, so it was really, seriously, it was that random. Yeah. And then we were like, okay, so how are we going to make this work? So we were like, Anglo-African events. We played around with different names, and then that one we fell in love with. We were like, this is the one, that's the name we want. And yeah, and we chose it based on that. And I think what inspired us to start the agency was really, you know, when you have your own agency and you have a plan and how you want to see it in the end, it gives you a lot more flexibility in terms of how you strategize and the business you bring in, how you use the business to bring in to empower what other people. Yeah. So I think that was the real big thing for us.
But Tuli, when you speak about, you know, planning and strategizing, I'm sure you've had some obstacles or huge challenges that you needed to overcome. How did you do that, and what spiritual practices do you use to do that?
Sure, I think for me it's always about, you know, my job is very fast-paced. It's always, you know, we're always going from project to project, and we're running around, and you never really have time for yourself, you know. But I've learned that in the past years that I've been running the business, I've learned to have a moment. You know, there are times when I always say to my clients, to the people I work with, that Sunday is my day. Yeah. It's a day that I need to kind of just unwind, just to kind of just be with me, be with my higher power. And I think that's been really the essence of how I stay sane.
So guidance and leadership is very important for you, and that's why you're clearly passionate about helping young women, empowering women.
Absolutely.
So tell us about Girls Invent Tomorrow.
Because I run an events agency and primarily my clients are in the technology sector, I saw a gap, you know, and I think that's what entrepreneurship is about. It's about seeing the gaps and filling those gaps. I noticed that with the events that we plan, it's very male dominated.
Sure,
you know,
yeah.
You come to events and it's mostly men. Females are there, don't get me wrong, they exist, they're there. But I just felt that we're not making an impact in the technology space. So I think for me, Girls Invent Tomorrow is really about showing young girls that there are other careers besides being an accountant, a lawyer, or a doctor. You know, open your eyes, you know, and I think we're very passionate about showing them, the females that are doing it, that are in the industry. You know, we run empowerment programs. We get female in technology to come talk to the girls so they can identify with them and see that, oh, okay, so this person's got a similar background as me, you know, different communities, and it starts becoming real.
And it creates a formidable support structure, especially for young girls.
Absolutely.
Last year, you took on an initiative, the Next Gen Leadership Movement. Please tell us about it.
Sure. Next Gen was really, I think it was also going back to young people. You know, when I look at young people, I'm very passionate about young people because I think they are the future. You know, they are the next leaders. You know, I think with us, a lot of us have done what we can within the spaces that we can, but young kids need to be aware of the role they're going to play in society. You know, sometimes when you see that your peer has achieved, has gone somewhere, has achieved a goal, you want to learn from them, and you want to ask them, okay, so how did you touch? What did you do? Yeah. So I think that's why we decided to do Next Gen, and you know, the support and the feedback we've gotten from Next Gen has been amazing, that a lot of young people who we have in our pool love it, because right now there's been a lot of networking opportunities where people are exchanging cards, they're having their own meetings, they're meeting people that ordinarily they wouldn't have met. within their space, just to kind of get an understanding of where they're going, how they got there, and what challenges they faced. So I think that's how we decided to create iNextGen.
Okay, Tuli, with that mouthful said, I'd like to get it into our next game and it's called Would You Rather. Okay. So it's a quick game, identity. You need to answer as quickly as possible.
No, that's great. That's cool.
Would you rather wear only 80s clothes or 80s hairstyles?
80s clothes.
Be always 2 hours early or always late?
2 hours early.
Be a pirate or a ninja?
Pirates.
Be stuck on a deserted island or be lost in a huge unknown forest?
Deserted island.
Travel by boat or by motorcycle?
By motorcycle.
Be able to change the past or be able to see the future?
Be able to see the future.
Tuli, thank you so much for being an inspiration and thank you for joining us on i-Dentity.
Thank you for having me. It was really fun. I enjoyed this one. Thank you very much.
Nelson Mandela once said, "A winner is a dreamer who never gives up." Thank you to Tuli Sebago for that insightful chat, and we wish her success as she continues to positively influence and shape the lives of young women around her. Lixesha lekhefu, nxa sibuya sijonga ibala namhlanje, kwaye ungaphoswa sisiqendu sethu esibonisa i-app yeBhayibheli, kwaye nencwadi ebhalwe ngababhali ababini abalapha eMzantsi. Sanibona ngoku.
This is my identity. This is my identity.
Welcome back. You're still watching i-Dentity with me, Viwe Gxwala, right here on SABC Mzansians. Thank you for staying tuned. The i-Dentity team was recently invited to engage and experience an open dialogue session with a focus on spirituality, womanhood, and women empowerment. Take a look at what the Mbogodo Dialogue team shared with us. Here is their story.
This is my identity.
It's been said that when you strike a woman, you strike a rock. It was with this saying in mind that Yufani Khadima founded Mbogodo Dialogues, a platform where young women come together to empower and uplift each other through conversations that impact change.
The story of Mbogodo Dialogues is very personal to me because I'm passionate about creating change and establishing movements that will create legacies, and that is what I'm all about. I'm all about changing things, and hence I'm doing Mbogodo Dialogues. So now I thought about the concept for 4 to 5 years, and then I sent an email in 2015, invited a group of girls, and I said, ladies, let's hook up. Let's talk about issues that really impact us. And after discussing those issues, let us come up with solutions. The qualification to be a part of Mbogodo Dialogues is simple. You just need to be a woman who is impacting change in your corner. You don't have to be on the cover of a magazine. You don't have to be famous or popular. So Mbogodo Dialogues is a platform for that woman who is impacting change.
I chose to get involved with Mbogodo Dialogues because I really felt that it was a very important platform for women, because women, historically women have been shaped and positioned to not like each other and to be hating each other, and it's a narrative that has gone on for so long. And it's good to actually meet other young women who don't necessarily want to follow that narrative. They want to change it, because there is a different reality of women who actually work in collaboration, who love each other, who support each other. And Mbogodo Dialogues is that platform. So I specifically really wanted to affiliate with it because I feel that it's actually closing a very important gap in our society where women can be ambassadors of change, socially, even economically, because they're now speaking in one voice instead of being great in silos. We can even do greater because now we're sort of pushing and moving in one accord as women. The struggles are the same, the challenges are the same, and we can then empower each other to even do better.
The culture that we've accepted about each other as women is that we tear each other down, we tear each other apart. So to have an environment like this that is both supportive but also practical in the sense that you can be a businesswoman and meet other businesswomen. You can be somebody who's employed in a formal sector and meet other women who are employed in that formal sector. It really bucks the trend of what we're used to in terms of female relations.
When Yufani asked me to speak about something in media and female relationships, I was like, you know what? Female relationships and female interactions need to be seen in a different light as opposed to what media is showing us. Female relationships are not always inherently catty and dramatic, but they are complex. They've got their own dimensions. And I think it's time for us to say, guys, let's actually talk about what media is doing.
I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. So my faith and my religion is very holistic. It teaches us from a young age that we live our lives as Christians. It's a lifestyle. So in whatever I do, I need to have that trademark, in whether in the corporate world, whether I decide to start a movement like Mbogodo Dialogues. So Mbogodo Dialogues has also become a safe space for those women who've been afraid to say, look, I believe in God, and I'm not ashamed to say that I believe in God, and the things that I have, I attribute all my successes to the Most High. We are transparent about who we are. We are transparent about what we believe in. Our tagline is, if I can approach the throne of God boldly, I can face the day vicariously. And that's the same thing with Mbogodo Dialogue. So it actually really helps with the confidence boost.
You're the light of the world, you're the salt of the earth. When there's a difference when there's light. It's not like when it's dark. There's a difference when there is salt in food and when there isn't. I want us to go away with the feeling that wherever we are, people must be able to tell that a Christian was in this place, and a Christian woman was in this place, and a woman of prayer was in this place. There must be a reason for you being there. There must be a reason for your Christianity. There must be a reason for the faith that you claim you profess. People think that they've advanced so much that they've outlived the cross, they've outlived the relevance of the cross, and quite frankly they haven't, because Christ is beyond and outside all of that. So to live and to say it's no longer relevant, we don't longer need it, I think is fooling ourselves. So I think that's why it's still really, really important to have a spiritual life.
The reason I started attending the event is because when I first read about them on Facebook, I saw this was a forum of women uplifting each other, and then I think I would want to do that. Okay, I'm a young woman, I work, I have a lot that I'm also doing on the side, and I thought having other women empowering me can help me, and also Nami being there empowering other young women.
We come from different spheres of life, and the reason why we are here is to learn from each other, to start a conversation. Wherever you are, talking is the only thing that's going to bring us together as women. Let's raise issues that we go through. Let's talk about the things that we experience on a daily basis.
Let us come together, let us support one another. If we're going to continue with that attitude of not supporting one another, we will not be able to build something that is sustainable. So come, bring your friends, join the movement, join the network, let us build the economy so that the future generation knows that this is what our parents have done, so that they don't have to jump over the hurdles that we're trying to jump over. So let us just work more together. That is my appeal from the bottom of my heart.
This is my identity.
It's been said that behind every successful woman is a tribe of other successful women who have her back. We commend Euphony Khadima and her team of iMbogodo for this powerful initiative. We hope this story has inspired you to be a leader in your community too. Ninalo na ibali eningathanda ukwabelana nalo nababukeli be-Identity. Thumelani i-email enzulu ku-identitytvshow@gmail.com. Kwazibani, nani ngafumana ithuba lokwakha ababukeli beMzansi for sure kwisiqendu sethu samabali. Let's take one more short break. When we come back, we jump straight into our media review segment. Today we're reviewing a biblically inspired brain teaser app and a book by two local authors titled Beyond Inspiration. We'll be right back.
This is my identity. This is my identity.
Namkelekile kwakhona kwi-Identity khonapha ku-SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. Viwe Gxwala. Usomashishini uTuli Sebago usincede siqala inkqubo yethu ngendlela eqaqambileyo. Saphinde sadibana namalunga eMbogodo Dialogues. Lixesha ngoku lokubona ezibonwayo. Nanku what's happening. The Identity team is all about providing you with content to help you along your spiritual journey. Today we're featuring a biblically based educational quiz app. It's called the Devo Bible Quiz. The Devo Bible Quiz is a collection of trivia games that will test your knowledge of biblical books, characters, and scripture verses taken from the Old and New Testaments. The homepage offers a daily Did You Know fact as well as 4 game options. Select the rapid fire option for a timed and extremely challenging game, which gives you 5 seconds to answer a question. The classic game option is a definitive Bible quiz with the option to play with or without a timer. Just how well do you know the books of the Bible? Test your knowledge with the which book option, which gives you a verse and challenges you to select the correct book from which it was taken. The challenge option is a combination of the other 3 game options, making it that much trickier but also more fun. At the end of each game, the app lists your personal best scores, which you can share with your family and friends via email or on social media. Find out how well you know your Bible in a fun and challenging way with the help of the Devo Bible quiz and trivia game.
On to our next review, which is a book that aims to provide you with tools that will help you reach your full potential so as to achieve your goals. It's called Beyond Inspiration, co-authored by Thabang Ramoraga and Tshepang Pule. Let's page through.
Beyond Inspiration is a motivational book co-authored by Thabang Ramoraga and Tshepang Pule. Through the book, the authors aim to guide the reader on a path of merging inspiration with action. The book is split into 5 parts that tackle subjects such as identity, the power of vision, as well as creating a culture of success. One part highlights themes such as believe and become, you are powerful and influential, and defeating the average Joe syndrome. It also gives practical examples using the lives of public figures such as Dr. Nelson Mandela, Steve Jobs, and Miriam Makeba. Another part of the book is titled Purpose-Driven Life and touches on what really drives humans to achieve, as well as how to set long-term goals as a young person. In the same chapter, the author formulates a list of solutions on how to deal with failure or rejection. The book is peppered with quotes from the authors themselves, excerpts from the Bible, and some notable words of wisdom from renowned world leaders, and each chapter ends on an affirmatory note. If you're looking for that extra bit of inspiration to help you put your plans into action, why not try this powerful book called Beyond Inspiration by Thabang Ramoraga and Tshepang Pule.
We've come to the end of another episode of Identity. Stay connected with us via cyberspace. Search for Identity TV Show on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram and simply like or follow us. If you're not about this social media life, then don't worry. You can drop us an email on identitytvshow@gmail.com. Namhlanje sivala inkqubo yethu ngengoma kaZakwe enomzulu. Kum uViwe Gxwala neqela le-Identity. Sanibona ngeveki elandelayo. Salani kakuhle.
ngoba siyogada indoda imemeza yokuthi inkukhu isaphila sibenzela ilatex emini yeqhuma sanhlaphana ezinye ziyofeketha ngoba lemkhaphe yanayibuza ingayibhixa nge-entrax sibakhipha isinyongo kwifutho ndaba qhuma intshibongo sibenzela isibhiqongo ngentshibongo ngoba sebashibongo intshele kabhoqo isala kutshela sibona ngomobo akusiyitshela case kodwa akasinikele khona sibabhiqela ingoma sifungula inyama niphodla idombolo yobhithi ikhotha kuphuphuma ibandla kuphendla idolobha siphebeza insini ngesigubhu esifukuza amashokolo sinikele ensibini isigubhu suku singena fosholo wenivela nikosho hlezi ngintwase egasini fafasa inyoni engaphapazi ngibhabha mbhalansi enganayi athi kudala sakhankasa sibakhawatha ngesamakhabasa benithi niyashatha sanibhabhaza ngetsheli kaphambatha